poggers.
Alright. It's a little offbeat for timing, I know. I'm also a little sick, so you might hear my throat get raspy. I gotta figure out if anybody at the store wants to, like, play tomorrow. Okay. Let's brighten this up a little bit, maybe. So we tested this out yesterday to try to see kind of how far we need to go with it. Because I'm still new. I'm still new to the whole non-metallic metal thing. It's a little rough. I'm still getting there. I can never really thin the paint well enough to smooth it down in a way that I like. But the core of this is to hit some edges with some cadmium orange. The general color that I try to build up to is Naples yellow. And then we hit like an edge highlight with pale yellow, and then we hit a spectral, like a slight touch of titanium white right at the end. And that's kind of been the whole gist with pretty much all this over here. And then of course we're gonna have to correct things as we go because we are kind of touching the paint and it might rub some of it off. So I've done a lot of pre-existing burnt sienna, but we might need to do more, like on this cover for the missiles and stuff. There's a lot going on here. We need to get to it. Yeah, let me see if I can't show you guys the process. At least my process for this. There's probably better ways to do it. I also have some glazing medium to try to thin it down enough so it doesn't feel like crap when I'm applying it, because So Flat is very thick. Very thick. So I try to put a little bit of glazing medium in it. Thin it down just a bit. Make it buttery smooth. But kind of the gist, at least for this part, and I'm going to try to do maybe something along the outer edge of the tread, is to sort of start near the bottom. Kind of texture build it up. And you can kind of pull some off to lower the opacity as you go. We can kind of focus almost exclusively on the orange, I guess, this early. Like on these sort of bracket rivet things, we do the bottom part. We'll see who's interested in watching a Friday night hobby stream. I didn't want to do it in the day. A little selfishly because I was playing Monster Hunter. Kind of have to wait for it to dry at times and go back over. Pull it up a little bit. And I was doing kind of a little on these corners down here. What up, Jam? This is for 40K. Of course, it is a Horus Heresy model, as I believe you were pointing out. From what I can tell, Horus Heresy, people are interested in it, but it's not that big of a group of people that are interested in it. So a lot of these, like, crazy models, which do look really good. The Land Raider from Horus Heresy, really amazing looking. People don't purchase them. So stores try to offload them pretty consistently. Let me see where we were at with this. I think we hit it with white, so we're pretty good. This is basically done except the skull, which I gotta work on. This one off and figure some stuff out with it. So, because stores are trying to offload products so that, you know, they don't get pulled under, you can always find interesting sales on stuff like this, which Games Workshop did say was completely usable in 40K. They were absolutely fine with it. You know, go for it. All is well. This was a $70 Land Raider. Thanks to their policies. $70. After seeing exactly how the Emperor's Children work through the leaks, I'm pretty sure I'm going to want at least one. There's a lot of people pointing to maybe just doing rhinos instead, since you can go that side of the detachment tree for the 1 CP assault ramp. I think I wanted to do like the inverse for the orange on these sides. Like have it come down this way. We all know a $70 Land Raider is a good deal, especially since Land Raiders right now in the US seem to be sold out for the most part. They are not easy to come by. And the big challenge for my Emperor's Children was that I decided I was going to go non-metallic metal. So we will not be using the crutch of actual metallic paints. We're gonna have to actually render everything, which might get a little crazy on the more numerous models. Although I could easily see myself kind of just going through the motions on those. Doing the brown. Going piece by piece, just building it up to the yellow. It's pretty much the same process as this. Start with the brown, go to the orange, hit the area that you want kind of that like reverse glow on with the orange, and then build up into the yellow. There's some pretty good processes, I think, for this NMM approach. There was one that was pretty cool where you start with the orange overall, and then you actually do the highlights in the areas you want the highlights to be, so you can kind of do it airbrush style. And then you have to go in with brown from layer and then paint the area between the yellow and the gold the brown to kind of push the darkness. Which I think is cool because you could technically pick another dark color to give it like a little bit more life in a different way. I feel like no matter how much I smooth this paint out, there's always like a little bit of texture in it. We also, from yesterday, we did all the glow effects, and I spent a little time afterwards bordering it with the brown. Try to emphasize the heat. So tomorrow's the big day for pre-orders. Whoa! What up, Andy? Good to see you pop in. Guessing it's the time of day that lets you get out here. Figured there'd be more spots that I want to touch up as metal. Nice. I had 2 Nashville hot chicken sandwiches I made. I was gonna make friggin' spaghetti with ground beef and all that, but I remembered I had a bunch of Nashville hot chicken left over. Played a ton of Monster Hunter, so that's something I've done so far today. Get my time in. I can't wait to talk about it at the podcast tomorrow, where I constantly bring up exactly how Monster Hunter feels. Clunky and janky and weird, but in a way that you enjoy. wait to see the comments fill up with people getting mad about that. Monster Hunter is such a weird thing, man. I've seen a couple other content creators bring up the fact that like Monster Hunter just has this horrible community built around it. And it's like, it's weird toxic on both sides, right? If you say anything that even feels remotely bad about the game, you get an ocean of nerds who are just gonna yell at you. But then you'll also get the ocean of nerds who do feel the same way you like that you brought up in the video, who are gonna come at them in a way that feels like a little too aggressive. Like thanks for the help, guys, but maybe not this much. Like my review of the first Monster Hunter that came out on Switch, the remake of the 3DS one. Oh, we got a lot of, you know, interaction on that. It was literally thousands of likes and dislikes that equaled out to 50-50. And my favorite was the comment section was just people who were like, look at all those dislikes, you should take this video down. Because obviously you're wrong. And it's like, oh my god, dude. Everything I brought up was absolutely true. It's just one of those weird things. Because I know a lot of people talk about, like, gaming journalists and reviewers being, like, paid actors at this point. And at times, sure. At times, no. But, like, that return on a review, that, like, outright anger, I mean, it's not just the companies that make reviewers paid actors, it's also the communities. We're gonna have to pick a color for these missiles. Gotta be careful picking this up. The game's fun enough. It's like I said, though. I picked it up. I brought it up with a few groups, like, hey, who wants to play? And everyone's like, sure, maybe one day. So I'm just tearing through the game by myself. Just Shrekking it. Is there any other gold spots we really want to focus on here? It's just one of those things. Let's do... Where's the skull? Here's the skull. Let's do brown on the skull, but we'll pull it back with actual skull tone. It's just better to start skulls off in like the brown area. So we'll pull it back with some brown glaze out of the purple. Just work it up from there. gonna get the orange accent in. I've seen some other options and combos with the gold non-metallic metal where instead of going orange, they pick a color like a little more related to, I guess, what the base and maybe the rest of the army or maybe another color looks like. Because technically the orange is more of a reflection of its surroundings. It's kind of like a bounce light. So there are people who have done this combination with like teal or turquoise as this area. So you do the turquoise in this area and then you build the yellow that you've kind of selected over top of it. Which is a pretty good method. IMO. I'm really hoping to get that pre-order in. Emperor's Children are so fan favorite that I'm pretty sure scalpers and bots are going to be looking for it, since this is the special edition box that comes with all the cool special edition stuff. And that's usually what the bot algorithms look for out of Games Workshop. It's special edition Black Library books, and then special edition box sets that come with like unique codexes and stuff. The battle boxes. So I think we're gonna be in a bit of a struggle bus situation tomorrow. I'm just gonna walk over to that computer and just mass reset. Thankfully, a buddy of mine said that his local store, he's told them to put one on hold. So if I don't get it, he'll have one on hold for me there. But if I do get it, he'll just, you know, tell them to put it back on the wall when it comes out. Claim he doesn't actually need it. So I've at least got a fairly wide net that I'm looking at to frickin' get these models, man. If not, I'm just gonna have a Land Raider and a Fulgrim. I'm just gonna be sitting there like an idiot. Because this is like one of the key and core moments to 40K. If you're thinking of getting in, and what's been leaked about the Emperor's Children feels good, it feels like something you would actually want, this is it. Because you're going to get a very huge discount on a lot of the models for this line in that box. Like, they always give you some massive benefit for the initial battle boxes. Like when the Votan came out, if you were interested in that kind of concept, that was the time to start collecting. You would have gotten most of your army for super cheap. Like seriously, a 2K Emperor's Children army, we factored it together. It's $70 for this. If you went with regular Fulgrim instead of the one I bought, it would be like $170. It's $230 for this upcoming box, and then I think $160 for the combat patrol that'll come eventually. And then I think you need to purchase a Lucius, which is probably going to be $60. And then that's it. 2K army done. With extra. It's always good to get in on the launch of a faction. You'll get some pretty good deals. Just in general. I think my main issue is that my airbrush is struggling a bit. It was a struggle bus to get this tank like properly put together, which means working on all those infantry models that I'm gonna have to glue together and then paint. I might actually need to get a different airbrush. I've done deep cleaning on this airbrush like twice now. Oh, so much stuff. Kind of don't mind it though. Usually when you're getting into like this side of the hobby where you're just trying to emulate things and go through the motions for sort of recipes, I guess, to try to achieve a visual aesthetic, it feels easy. You kind of just go. You eventually hit like a flow state, and then you're barely paying attention. You're just doing. Main reason I'm streaming now is the last time we streamed, it was super slow, like most of it, and then around about like 4 o'clock, people just started pouring in to say hi. I don't know, I still don't think I've nailed my time frame for streaming to kind of maximize this. Maybe one day. I might get a kill team game in tomorrow. Oh. I'm gonna try to bring my combat patrol, some underworld stuff, and my kill team stuff. Might actually bring my Gallo Dark terrain. A lot of people are playing Vulcus right now, and I think that's like the main terrain most people have in the area. But everyone seems really interested in trying out Gallo Dark, and I've got a fully painted Gallo Dark. And in my opinion, Gallo Dark and Kill Team is still like the best. It's so good. I think the only issue is that they're making it sound like they want to give it a try, like they haven't played or looked into it yet, and it's like, oh shit. It's not that kind of a game. Please read the rules. Please. Please watch a video or two. There's a lot that happens. If you have no idea what is about to happen, that just makes it way harder. We're just gonna keep going with the orange, I think. Try to get everything touched with the orange that needs it. So like all these stupid little rivets. Just gotta put some orange on the bottom. Just keep working our way over. Okay, we'll just put some orange on this one lip. Put some orange there. Do some orange on the sides. Gotta hit all these spears with a little orange on the bottom for that like rim lighting effect. I think we'll do orange just Trick here is to try to keep the brown just like generally in the area that's close to the heat sources to stay brown, because I want it to feel like that sort of charred metal, like that just overheated metal concept. Skip this. Because drifting at frequency is 23 minutes long. What up, Dragon? What you doing? Dude, it pops not under that current lighting too. This is fluorescent purple over white. We did a lot of work to get to that point. I'm glad we did, because it looks fantastic. And then that non-metallic metal freaking gold, it's gonna pop even more. Going for the full-fledged Slaneshi excess of the Emperor's Children. But how's it going, everyone? Everyone doing good? I am mentally hunkering down for tomorrow's pre-order storm. Oh, hopefully I can get it. Try to get to bed at a good time though, which is gonna be a problem. Monster Hunter is out and I own it. But how you doing, Pope? Oh, neat. Hopefully that's going well. We're just out here trying to imitate gold with very little prior experience. Sort of winging it as I go. Do we know what's going on pre-order tomorrow? I gotta check my budget. Because if it's just the battle box, great. Because the next time I get paid is next week. But if it's like the battle box, Fulgrim, well, technically not Fulgrim, I don't care about that. I already have that. If it's battle box, Lucius, Cacophonist, then I've got a pretty hefty spike of spending coming. Pretty sure it's going to be the one-off box, though. I feel like the one-off box always hits, and then the rest of the stuff comes shortly after. It's not like it really matters necessarily. Until the Combat Patrol gets released, I'm not going to be finishing the Emperor's Children purchases, because the Combat Patrol is, like, ideal. Even though it's probably only, like, $20 off, technically, at the end of the day, it's still $20 off of stuff I'm actually going to use. And not just me being like, I'm not going to use half this. I've already got a spot for everything in my tournament list. At least until they do that day one points adjustment and it no longer works. Then we will be sad boys. I'm so happy I didn't buy any Hellbrutes or anything. I was super debating just being like, let me get one or two Emperor's Children themed Hellbrutes. Because, like, part of me felt like they were going to be purposeful. Even if they didn't exactly get, like, a sonic weapon. I thought they were going to have, like, some cool Slanesh feeling special rule. To go, like, berserk or something. And I'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. But they don't exist anymore, so sad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just the army box. So we'll be good until the next time around for the rest of the pre-orders. Lucius. And all that. Kind of sucks that the battle box doesn't have the Combat Patrol in it. That's a little crappy, IMO. Because if we're not going to get the Combat Patrol for a little while, it just sort of sucks. The first thing I would want to build and be ready with is the Combat Patrol. That's just like priority numero uno. So that I could just be like, yo, let's try a Combat Patrol so we can see how this works. I want to experience the brutality of a full-size squad of Flawless Blades in Combat Patrol. Without any armor to get them from point A to point B. Like, if there was ever a Combat Patrol to put a Rhino in. Although I think Flawless Blades... I know Noise Marines can go in Rhinos. I don't know if Flawless Blades can go in Rhinos. Can't remember. I know there were some weird limits. Moving on to tier 2. Second stage after I do this minor correctionary purple here. Literally the reason I bought this so flat version of the fluorescent purple is because I knew some of it was just going to come off. No matter how hard I try, this edge right here is going to be a problem. Hopefully until I hit it with varnish, and then we'll see. Okay, so moving on from cadmium orange, we move into Naples yellow. It is a bit more straight up, just full opacity. This is the main rendering yellow, so we're going to need a good bit of it. I actually picked this one up just before we started painting. I assumed I didn't like at the time. I assumed my my color choices, because my color choices were either like super middling brown and then super bright yellow and super bright orange. So I was like, maybe we look for an in-between. Maybe we look for a way to build that up and render it. hit it with the pale yellow after. But as long as there's more like mid-tone, I think it's better. Better for everyone. But yeah, seeing the community basically blowing up. We kind of assumed because of how the World Leaders launched that Emperor's Children wasn't going to be wildly good, but I do agree it is a bit weird. All the things that Games Workshop was like, eh. Like all the universal stuff that almost every Chaos Pantheon has some form of. To just be like, nah. We're not going to give it to your characters anymore. It's just, I don't know, it feels awkward. Just kind of out of nowhere be like, yeah, no Hellbrutes for you. I can kind of get it though. I don't know. It's the rushdown problem. Currently in 40k, rushdown is meta. Like, rushdown's meta. If you have a rushdown army and it's not that bad with its statting, you're probably going to do really good. Because you're going to be up on top of the enemy turn 2 minimum. If you get lucky, maybe turn 1. And then that's it. You basically put them into a cyclical brawl that they can't escape from. And you just score points based on the stuff that they can't get to. Because they're just stuck. And it is really starting to look like Emperor's Children are built for that. Just relentless rush down. Hail ye. There does seem to be an interesting thing going on with the Emperor's Children release. I know the initial stuff they showed has like that Emperor's Children pink that everyone's aware of, but I feel like there's a lot of artwork as well as a lot of pictures in the codex itself that's like, hey, we get it. Maybe you as a person aren't that into the idea of a pink army. Maybe it's a little weird for you. Quick reminder, the army was once purple and gold, and we know people love those colors. Also, here's a ton of options that involve, usually, what we've seen is, like, a lot of golds and silvers, platinums. When we had this thing kind of initially being done, and I had to redo the white surface of it to get ready for the purple, I genuinely had an interesting idea of just doing like pale white, like just slightly off white with like purple undertones. This is fluorescent purple. I tried to do the most purple I could purple. I thought, what if Exhibit painted this army? Hashtag pimp my ride joke. Yo, dog, I heard you like purple. FNM? Neat. Guessing you're saying Friday Night Magic. Which I imagine, absolutely. Good luck. Do your best to corral the nerds. Texture it as it gets closer to the heat. It genuinely does scare me a little when I think about all the different local game stores and stuff, and just how much they rely on companies like the Pokemon Company and Wizards of the Coast to not screw up, right? Like, as long as they don't screw up, all is well, right? Like, I've always been a big fan of diversifying. And if you're a storefront, if the entire premise of you being like, we're good, is on like two companies not messing up, the struggle, in my opinion, like the absolute struggle. Just the idea of like D&D getting moved over more to like the digital side of things, and then absolutely just doing dumb stuff with it, making people not happy with them. Ugh. I'd hate to be a frickin' game store in this day and age. We're gonna texture this. We're gonna keep that going. I'll make sure the closer it gets to the edge, the more just like crusty and heat based it looks. Because it's almost not even just the game store, right? That's kind of the issue. Like, them living and dying by magic is terrible, sure. But there's a lot of, like, other companies that sell their stuff through those storefronts who are also kind of relying on companies like Wizards of the Coast and everything to not go south. Because if those companies go south, then the stores and the storefronts that get people interested in these little like mom and pop tabletop projects and board game projects, suddenly like that storefront's gone. Now everything's pretty much controlled by like Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Which seems to constantly be getting revealed as like kind of obnoxious, because they'll do things where they give preferential treatment to specific companies. You have to jump through so many hoops just to get on their shelf. Even though it's like super important to do it, it's like, great. Well, this passion project of mine that could bring jobs and a future and like all this is impossible. Because Amazon and Barnes and Noble deems it so. It's such a weird idea. Such a weird concept. Sadly, I am missing out on a tournament. There was a tournament tomorrow, and I was like, oh, I could go to it, but then I didn't know what my schedule was, and then by the time I knew what my schedule was and could have been like, yeah, let's go to a tournament, that was when they announced the pre-orders. And I don't want to, like, in the middle of a round in a tournament, be like, hang on, I gotta pre-order stuff. Let me sit here mashing refresh on my phone to try to get this pre-order. I feel like this stage is probably one of the longer ones. Just because I feel like this middling yellow tone is a bit more common. And you gotta be absolutely certain where you're putting it. Make sure you're not highlighting stuff that doesn't need to be highlighted. Whew. Step a little bit. I can kind of see the benefits people have talked about with non-metallic metal using sponge. If you have a small enough sponge, because it's all about texture, I feel like. Most of the metal function is, can you do like a easy blend with maybe a texture? And it makes it look really good. So if you water down the pigment and sponge apply it, it's kind of like applying makeup. For those of you out there who are good at that. Does look fairly dull, but I know that the next step with the pale yellow really pushes it. Like we've already been here before, but that upcoming pale yellow application is going to be so brutal. Vroom, vroom. To start flexing more though at tournaments. Could be worth it to get some info out there to let people know, like, hey, commission's open if you guys want me to like paint stuff. Told a buddy of mine who was thinking of getting back into 40K that he could just pay me commission for paint jobs. He was like, oh shit, I completely forgot that that was an option. Because that was his whole thing, like, I don't know when I'm gonna have time to paint. I work so hard to make all the money I make, and I'm like, well, you have money and I have time to paint. We ride. Everyone doing good in chat? I know we're doing like a chill hobby stream. But I do look over occasionally to see if people are, you know, got any questions, got any fun rando conversations. I'm all about trying to at least be semi-entertaining while I zone out and get some painting done. Then again, there's always the possibility that YouTube chat is frozen. Historically, this has happened a few times. If people just want to AFK chill, it is also fine. Kind of hoping to get to at least the end of the non-metallic metal, which will leave me with minor details like the missile colors and stuff, which probably just do that off stream. I'm not really that pressed. And then the next time we stream will probably be after I get the battle box. That way we can kind of crack it open on stream, start building. Which will be good. That'll give me time to finish this Warp Coven video that I'm very close to being done on. But I just keep getting distracted by projects and other little things I gotta get done. And we gotta work on a tactics video. Try to get these kill team newcomers up to speed with fun strategy ideas and ways of thinking about meta. A little orange there. Blend it. Whew. On to stage 3. I'm out of water. Oh, so thirsty. Also need to pull out that bone color I have floating down here. Just grab that real quick. Titan buff, we gotta be very careful with that. It's only on the one skull though that will apply it. At this point we do need to just keep moving forward. Pale yellow. of which we will need a decent amount. Originally, I purchased pale yellow as a flat color to go over objects that I was going to hit with my fluorescent green, so that there'd be at least a yellow base tone to it, which was super exciting when I decided to start doing non-metallic metal gold, to just have it on hand and be like, oh, this is my bright. Sweet. Again, this is mostly about texture. feel like we could do like a hangout sesh. I don't know. If I popped into Discord with people who were just chilling, painting, just talk about shit. Aim for the camaraderie, I guess. Because that's really kind of like the best part about painting. I've tried to do that a couple times locally. Find like a group of people who get together and paint. But every time I've tried, it's kind of come up empty. The people who are hosting the event kind of oversell it. I remember trying to do it at that one hobby store, and they were always like, oh, there's like 10 people who are coming out for it. First 2 times, it was literally just me. It's like, alright. I get it. You don't want to be like, yeah, no one's coming. You kind of want to, like, push people to show up. Because then worst case scenario, you lie about 10 people showing up, and then 10 people do, because they heard about 10 people showing up, so... Alright, main body. Specifically this back chassis. trying to hit some spots with it. I know it does kind of overwhelm a little bit, which I kind of like for Emperor's Children as a visual aesthetic. There's certainly elements of it where I'm like, let's try not to get too overwhelming. Let's try not to go too bright. Who's messaging me? Yeah. Oh, that's right. I just remembered. I have a second combat patrol. I was going to bring my Thousand Suns combat patrol. But I just remembered I have a Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights combat patrol. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll bring my Thousand Suns one. Because I imagine if someone's like, I want to play Combat Patrol, and then I put 2 War Dogs on the table, they're going to be like, I don't want to play Combat Patrol anymore. And I'm going to have to go through the whole nuanced conversation of, just so you're aware, they're not that hard to kill. And when you do, I'm going to lose a lot of function from my army for scoring and everything. I agree, though. They aren't new player friendly. God, this is so bright. if the store near me is doing Friday Night Magic. I imagine they are. That's where they claim most of their income comes from, so there's like no way they would not at all do that. Like, it's almost universal, the concept of Friday Night Magic. Although those who aren't in the know might hear someone say that and be like, I guess they'll do sleight of hand every Friday. It's an interesting idea, though, like, marketing-wise, that they were able to just be like, let's call it Magic the Gathering, but let's just refer to it as Magic. I feel like there's an extreme level of value in sort of securing one-word names for projects, especially when that one word is kind of like universally other types of situations. Pretty big flex. IMO. I really should move off of the ambient music selection. Let's go with hip hop, indie, metal. Apply. Honestly, I wouldn't mind paying for a service if it meant we got like a little bit more interesting music. Alright, we are on the final tier. Arguably the easiest tier. Skull based. So, the easiest here for non-metallic gold of this type is white. That's right. Just specular highlights. Probably don't even need that much on the paper itself. Because even though we did get a little bit into the excess with the extremely bright yellow, you definitely don't want to do that with the white. Just doing a little bit of like edge highlighty stuff here and there. Quick little dabs. sucks is, even though this is fluorescent gold, it doesn't actually glow under black light. I don't understand why it's like, yo, this is fluorescent, and then it just doesn't react. Just one of those oddities. So gold. We literally only have a couple more things to do. In particular, we've got to do the little lenses and the little targeter up here for the las cannon. On both of them. And then I need to find my bone speed paint. There we are, skeletal horde. Back over to the skull. Alright, what color do I want to do for the lenses? I'm thinking some kind of a green. Because we do have a green. Super bright lime green. A little bit. Last on the docket is this missile rack, which I don't want to just be purple, because we got the gold, we got the purple frame, but like these are the missile tubes. We might even want to do like some minor detail touch up, like all these little antennae and stuff that we might not want to be purple. Trying to think of how we're going to paint them. Kind of have an idea. It could involve the So Flat Black as sort of like a basing. And then we move into Rust Gray for a highlight. The missile tips themselves, maybe we make it Lothran. Not a lot of blue in this. A solid little 3-hour stream. I'll be able to get back on some Monster Hunter. My Monster Hunter character code is in our community Discord. If anybody wants to like play in the off hours of stream, I'd be down. Pick some detail out with this first. Very careful though. perfection. Give it a second to dry. It just picks out some of the details up top, just to remind you that it's not all just flat, right? Not all just a flat, same color. Get a little bit extra, a little bit more than just the core color, followed by secondary, which, I mean, that's basically what it is for the actual full army. Second, and then we go with rust gray because I like rust gray. Rust gray is slightly blue, and in my gray tones and dark tones and all that, I never really like leaning exclusively into straight up no saturation, no hue. That's boring. I don't want to be bored. Still need to wait a little bit, it looks like. Let me go grab Fulgrim. Maybe pull the camera back a little. They do look very good next to each other. And that's the key. That's the key to any happy army. That's the key to any element of this hobby. You get really far in painting, and you got multiple units all meant for the same thing, you can put them next to each other and go, oh yeah, that feels good. Then you've done it. You've achieved your goal. I just gotta wait a little bit longer. Hell yeah. Well, I can't varnish it tonight. can't varnish it tonight because dark, cold. I don't want the varnish to do what varnish does when it's too cold out. We'll have to varnish it in the morning. I'm gonna take some pictures. And then I hope I get that battle box tomorrow, honestly. To anyone else seeking to get their hands on this battle box, the Emperor's Children battle box, know that you are my enemy and I wish you all the misfortune in the world. Till next time, guys.